Can you imagine cute, fluffy bunnies causing a huge problem for a whole country? It might sound like a scene from a cartoon, but this is a real-life story. These adorable creatures, often seen as symbols of innocence and playfulness, turned into an ecological nightmare. It sounds crazy, but that's what happened in Australia. The vast and diverse landscapes of the Australian outback became the battleground for an unexpected invasion. These harmless-looking creatures caused a big environmental mess that we're still dealing with today. They devoured crops, destroyed native vegetation, and created competition for food with local wildlife. How did this happen? Let's explore the surprising and scary story of Australia's battle with bunnies. From their humble beginnings to their explosive population growth, the tale is as fascinating as it is alarming. It all started innocently, when European rabbits arrived with the first fleet in the late 1700s. These settlers had no idea what kind of impact their furry companions would have on the new land. They were brought over for food and hunting. Rabbits were seen as a convenient source of meat and sport, but they quickly adapted to their new environment. Nobody knew these furry newcomers would multiply like crazy and change the Australian landscape forever. Their rapid reproduction and lack of natural predators led to an explosion in their population, creating an ecological crisis that continues to affect Australia to this day. For a while, there weren't too many rabbits. They were a rare sight, mostly seen around the small settlements and towns. They stayed mostly around the towns, nibbling on the occasional garden plant or vegetable patch. But then, in 1859, everything changed dramatically. The landscape of Australia was about to be transformed forever. A man named Thomas Austin, missing his home in England, let 24 wild rabbits loose on his property in Victoria so he could hunt them. He had no idea what he was about to unleash. This small act had huge consequences. The rabbits began to multiply at an astonishing rate. With no natural enemies to stop them, the rabbits bred super fast. They thrived in the Australian environment, finding plenty of food and shelter. They spread across the continent like a bushfire, their numbers exploding. It was as if the land was being taken over by a furry invasion in just a few decades. Australia had a massive rabbit problem. The rabbits were everywhere, overrunning farmland and natural habitats. The land was covered with millions and millions of these hungry plant eaters. They devoured crops, destroyed native vegetation, and caused widespread ecological damage. The rabbits caused a lot of damage. They ate so much that they stripped the land bare, making it easy for the soil to wash away. Native plants, already struggling in Australia's tough environment, were wiped out. This loss of plants had a knock-on effect. Native animals lost their food and homes, and their numbers dropped. Some even went extinct. The rabbits digging also hurt the land, making the erosion worse and the ground unstable. The Australian government knew the rabbits were a big problem and tried hard to control them. They built thousands of kilometres of fences to try and stop them spreading, but the rabbits dug under or found ways around them. People tried trapping and poisoning them, but that didn't work well against so many rabbits. Desperate, the government introduced a disease called myxomatosis in the 1950s. At first it worked really well, killing lots of rabbits, but over time the rabbits became resistant to the disease and their numbers started to grow again. The fight against rabbits isn't over. Despite numerous efforts and various strategies implemented over the years, the rabbit population continues to pose a significant challenge. Even after decades of trying to control them, Australia is still dealing with the damage they caused. The rabbits have not only affected the agricultural landscape, but have also led to severe soil erosion and degradation of natural habitats. While there aren't as many rabbits as there used to be, they're still a big threat to the environment and farms. Their presence continues to disrupt the balance of ecosystems, making it difficult for native species to thrive and for farmers to protect their crops. The ongoing battle with rabbits reminds us how fragile nature is and how human actions can have unexpected consequences. Introducing a non-native species can lead to a cascade of ecological problems that are hard to reverse. It shows us how important it is to understand ecosystems and be careful about introducing new species. The delicate balance of nature can be easily tipped, leading to long-term environmental issues that affect both wildlife and human activities. To learn more about this interesting and complicated story, I encourage you to check out the many books and websites about it. There is a wealth of information available that delves into the history, impact, and ongoing efforts to manage the rabbit population in Australia. This ecological struggle teaches us valuable lessons about protecting nature, how tough it is, and how important it is for humans to take responsibility in our delicate world. By understanding the past and learning from it, we can make better decisions for the future and work towards a more sustainable coexistence with our environment.